Hey, it's Don Skaggs with Empowered Inventing, the one place where we try to help you help other people by taking your great innovation, the right opportunity, mixing that with sound wisdom so you can turn them into real things like products and businesses. Now today, I want to talk about a question that sometimes I'll get inferred from a lot of inventors out there when they are writing their PPA, and if you don't know what a PPA is, that's short code for provisional patent application. So a lot of inventors, before they're going to file the big patent, they file what's called a provisional patent. And that's a way to kind of hold your foot in the door for 1 year so you can answer one important question: will this product sell? Is there a market for this product? So anyway, if you want to learn more about that, I've got other videos and also a Empowered Inventing Academy course that you can take that I'll mention here in a minute. But anyway, the question I get though is, and sometimes they don't directly ask this, but in one way or the other it gets asked. And that is, does everything you put into a patent have to actually be in your product? And that sounds like an odd question, but if you think about it, there's a lot of things that might go in the patent that maybe will never go in the product, and there's a good reason for that. And to explain why there's a good reason for that, let's talk a little bit about, back up and talk a little bit about what a patent actually does, or at least is supposed to do in a perfect world. One thing that a patent is supposed to do is keep competitors from legally making and selling your product. And sometimes they'll illegally do that, and that's called infringement, and that's a whole other video, story, and course. But at any point, your idea for your product, you're writing a patent on it, you're getting ready to file your initial IP, intellectual property, with your PPA, provisional patent application, and you are writing all the different ways that it's supposed to be done. Well, if you're keeping competitors at bay, and if you aren't protecting all the different ways that you could possibly make this, guess what? Then your competitors, if it's a hot selling product and it's out there in the marketplace and your competitors are all of a sudden perked up and they're saying, ooh, look at that, that guy's doing $1 million on Amazon. Look at that, that lady's doing a third of $1 million on Kickstarter. Oh, look at that. Those two guys are, they're really selling in our industry, and they're selling to our distributor and undercutting our business. And they go and look at the patent and they say, oh, okay, well, this is how they've made it. But there might be another way to make something, and maybe it's not as good, but they'll still do it to try to work around your patent. And so sometimes, if you aren't protecting all the ways that you could do it, they will. So think of it like putting up a fence around a piece of property that you want to keep people out of, or you want to keep animals out of, or whatever. You want to keep something outside out and not in. And you're putting this fence around, and if you put it up all the way around the property, then you're safe bet you're pretty safe. But if you stop it about midway and then have a nice big break, and you know, some fences do that, they've got a nice little entryway or walkways or whatever, and you've got a break, guess what? Whatever wants to come in or out will come in and out that opening. And that opening is what you are wanting to protect. And let's say, for instance, you have you're filing a PPA, you're filing a provisional patent application, and it's for a product that you know is going to be the best made out of stainless steel. And you're thinking, oh yeah, when we're going to put it where this is going to be made out of stainless steel because that's what I want. And here again, it comes down to what you want, and that can get you into trouble every time. But you say it's got to be made out of stainless steel. And then your competitor comes out and says, you know what, I can make a plastic version of that. You know what, I could make a wooden version of that. So what do? In the provisional patent, you say, oh yes, this could also be made out of wood. This could also be made out of plastic. Now that's an oversimplified example, but you get what I'm saying. And that's that you want to cover yourself of all the different ways that it could be made. You want that fence to go all the way around the property. Now, you got to also watch out for the other extreme. Because when you're writing a patent, and I get it so many times, the inventors they're trying to learn how to file their own provisional patent, and you know, they want to be able to do it themselves. They're bootstrapping themselves. They don't have the funds for an attorney, and I will help them you know, with consulting and that sort of thing. But they'll be putting this together, and then they're saying, okay, Don, yeah, I get it. I need to put all these things in it to be sure that nobody's going to work around it. And then they start adding more things, and then they start adding more things, and all of a sudden it becomes too broad. And when it becomes too broad, then you have a whole nother set of problems that you're going to have. If you're trying to protect too many things, or maybe even unrelated things of, oh, well, what if we have it in the sky? What if we have it on the ground? What if we have it in space? What if we have, and you're like doing every single possible, everything, and all of a sudden it's all things to everyone, everywhere, at all times. Well, sometimes that can be what's called too broad. Actually, many times that can become what's called too broad. And if it's too broad, then you may end up, number one, infringing on somebody else's patent. If you've got everything in the world in there, guess what? Somebody else has probably thought of doing that particular way. And it'll get thrown out. The patent examiner will knock it back to you and say, no, this is too broad. A lot of times they'll say that. Oh, no, these claims are way too broad. And again, go back to that fence analogy. If the fence is so thick and so high and so big and just these big concrete barriers, and it's in a pretty neighborhood with an HOA, it's likely you're not going to, or maybe even the county's not going to let you put that fence perimeter around your property. So if you go to one extreme, you can get in trouble. You can go to the other extreme, and you can also get in trouble. So it sounds like a really, really fine line that you have to walk. But if you have the right focus, if you've learned the right wisdom to do this right, it can definitely be accomplished. It's done every day. It's done every day right by smart, wise inventors that are doing it the right way. So if you put enough ways to keep the workarounds from happening, but then don't make it so broad as to just crater your chances of getting a patent, actually getting the what they call a notice of allowance, instead of just a whole bunch of office actions and a final notice saying, no, this guy can't patent this. Then you also have to consider the other patents, and you have to make sure that yours is different. So make sure you're not infringing on other people. Ultimately, usually there's some back and forth with the patent office. You'll see that, and they'll send what's called office actions. Those can get very expensive, by the way, and that's usually when you're getting an attorney to help you. Even if you started out pro se. Although I've seen some inventors just take it all the way themselves and successfully do it. Anyway, it can really be done, and I've seen it done, and I hope this was helpful for you in that way. Now, if you're looking for more information on developing a good patent strategy, then you're really going to want to check out Protecting What's Valuable. It's our course at empoweredinventing.com. We kind of walk you through, it's an online course. You can take it at your own pace, at your own time, and it helps you get from just that I don't know what I'm doing stage to, okay, I kind of understand this a lot better. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I'm Don Skaggs. This is Empowered Inventing TV. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And I will look to see you at the next meeting, workshop, maybe one of our online classes, or on the next video.